Good morning, welcome to Alzora Golf Club. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about driving the ball. Now, driving is arguably one of the most important parts of the game. And if you can't get off the tee, these championship courses here in the UAE are going to be quite tough to play. Now, you might have seen Danny Willett a few weeks ago at the Dubai Desert Classic. He was driving the ball fantastically well, and he has had his driver perfectly fit for him. So I've been using TaylorMade drivers now for about 7 or 8 years. I'm still using this one, the TaylorMade Burner Super Fast. You can see that the face is a little bit worn. And I've had many drivers in between, but I've never felt confident enough to change because I've never found one better than this model. A few weeks ago I was fortunate enough to get fitted for the new TaylorMade M1. It's their most adjustable driver yet. And it's the first driver I've had since this one that has increased my ball speed. We can talk a lot about club head speed, but the actual important number is the ball speed. If your ball speed increases, that relates to distance. And with this new M1, I was fortunate enough to increase my ball speed. Now, it's their most adjustable driver yet, so it's not just in the shaft. There's this old saying that driving or equipment is mainly in the shafts. Now, TaylorMade are telling us now that it's 75% in the head with the fitting and only 25% with the shaft. Shaft is more for feel. Now, the great thing about TaylorMade is it's not just for pro golfers on the tour. They are the #1 driver on the tour, but it's also for us amateur golfers as well who need help with their driving, and you should use the technology while it's there on offer. Now, we're very fortunate here in the UAE and at all of the Troon facilities here, we offer custom fitting. So go down, get yourself fit. It's going to make a difference to your game and it's going to help you to drive the ball better. So the first thing you have to ask yourself when you step on a par 4 or a par 5, is the driver the right club to take? Now, the average on the PGA Tour for driving accuracy is 60%. So that equates to about 8 fairways per round, so 8 out of 14, and this is the best players in the world. So for amateur golfers, we probably hit it much less, more like 40% of the time. So if you go on a hole where there's trouble left or trouble right, this is the first thing you have to ask yourself, is the driver the correct club? Now we have to think about the flight of the shot that we're going to hit. Now, most amateur golfers, they tend to hit the ball with a left to right ball flight, where most of the professionals, if they don't hit it straight, it tends to have this curve from right to left. Maybe only 3, 4, 5 yards, but that ball still has that spin on it. And that's what I try to work on with my students, is getting them with the driver, hitting that draw ball flight, which gives a strong trajectory and maximizes their distance. So we stand on the tee, and the key is here on the golf course is to play with the shape that you have that day, not trying to change anything with your swing, because the chances of changing it here on the golf course are tough. I've been trying to do that for 15 years now and it hasn't worked great for me. So trying to change the flight of the ball on the driving range, here on the tee, on the golf course, playing with the flight that you have. We now come to teeing the ball up. Now, all golfers are going to have their preference at how high they want to tee the ball. But it's amazing how many amateur golfers I see who still tee the ball extremely low. Now, with these modern drivers, with the middle of the face being so high, you have to make sure the ball is teed up high enough so you can actually hit the middle of the club face. Now, the first thing I do when I step on the tee and I'm going to tee the ball up is I assess the conditions. How high do I want to hit the ball? And that's going to relate to how high I tee the ball up. If I tee the ball low, it's generally when I'm playing into the wind to get a low launch angle and to give me the maximum distance. Now, if I'm playing with the wind, I tee the ball up much higher. I try to launch that ball higher, get that ball right in the wind to get maximum distance as well. So it's very important that we play with the conditions, and part of that is teeing the ball up at the right height. So for me, I like to tee the ball up normally on a day like today where there's not much wind, it's pretty calm out here. I like a sort of mid to low tee height. Now, this isn't going to maximize my distance, but for me it adds a little bit more backspin, which keeps the ball a bit straighter. Now, as a pro golfer, I feel like I hit the ball far enough. So for me, what's important is accuracy. If I went to a fitter, a club fitter, they would have me teeing the ball up much higher if we were looking to achieve maximum distance. But for me, par 5, if I can get the ball in the fairway, then I've got a good chance of making a birdie. So once we've got the ball teed up correctly, it's important that we have the ball far enough forward in the stance and that our spine angle is tilted lightly behind the ball so we can make a good turn, a good pass at the ball, and hopefully the ball's going to fly somewhere in the right direction. Now, what I look for when I'm driving, when I'm looking to be a good driver of the ball, the first thing is that we have a good driver. a driver that's modern, a driver that's fit for us. Now with all of these new drivers where you can change the weighting, you can change how much loft it has on it, this is going to make a big difference to your game, especially if you get fit properly. The second thing is the course management. Is the driver the correct club to hit on this hole? If it is, we have to decide what shot shape we play with, what we're going to hit here, where we're going to tee the ball up on the tee. Assess the conditions, how high we need to tee the ball to get the flight that we want. Once we've done all that, we're ready to go. It sounds like a long checklist, but when you get used to it, it just becomes automatic. I hope these tips on driving have helped you, and we look forward to welcoming you here at Alzora Golf Club soon.